What is the best therapeutic approach to help overcome an anxiety issue or disorder? This is a question I get asked a lot, and in this video, I'm going to give you my honest opinion. Let's do it. So, welcome back to my channel, or if this is your first time, I'm Tim Box, I'm a mind coach, and for more than a decade I've been working with people to help them overcome all sorts of emotional and psychological issues, and in particular helping them get control of anxiety. You might have seen my TEDx talk on the subject, a lot of which is based on the things I discovered from my one-to-one client work. Now, many of us who deal with anxiety issues might at some point seek out some form of therapy to assist our journey out the other side and help put us back in control. Yes, we can often do the work ourselves thanks to all the help available online these days, but isn't it nice to know that we're not alone and to get help from a qualified, experienced professional? Now, if you've ever sought out therapy, you are very probably already aware that there are dozens and dozens of different therapeutic approaches. And I often get asked what I believe to be the best approach, and perhaps more commonly, why I decided to work the way I do with my clients and how I came to develop my particular approach to therapy. Well, many of the regular viewers of my channel will know that I use a type of hypnotherapy that I developed myself called the control system. Now, there are many reasons that hypnotherapy is at the heart of what I do, but perhaps the most important reason is that hypnotherapy, statistically speaking, seems to get the best results. Some studies suggesting a 90+% success rate compared to a 50 to 70% success rate for something like cognitive behavioural therapy, which is what you might well be referred for if you go via the NHS in the UK. But here's the thing, I can't really speak of other therapies because I don't use them. I know why I do what I do, but I don't want to dismiss or misrepresent other approaches because ultimately all methods work. Not for everyone, not all the time, but if a therapy exists, it's probably because that approach has helped someone in some way at some time. So what I thought I'd do in this video is talk about what I do, the reasons why I work that way, and a little bit about how it works and why I believe it to be the most effective method of helping people to get back in control of anxiety. But rather than just listening to me talk about myself, I thought for this one I'd invite my counterpart in the United States, Anthony Gitch, to give his perspective and to tell us why, after years of doing other therapies, he decided to switch to the control system. Okay, so I'm here with Anthony Gitch, my counterpart in America, the control system trainer in America. Welcome, Anthony, to the channel.
Hello, sir. Thank you very much for having me today.
You're very welcome. It's a pleasure. It's long overdue, to be fair. We probably should have done a video before now because we're talking all the time about stuff like this, but let's crack on with this one, yeah?
Sounds good.
Okay, so in the intro, I spoke about how hypnotherapy is a great method for working with anxiety. Why do you think hypnotherapy in general gets such great results?
Well, because we're working directly with the subconscious part of the mind, and that's where all of our emotions, beliefs, behaviors reside. So let's just go straight to the place where they live, right?
That's right, because I mean, I know that like in the UK, cognitive behavioural therapy is a method that a lot of people are referred for. But of course, I've always found that to be, I've always thought of it as counterintuitive for anxiety in particular, because cognitive behavioural therapy deals with the conscious, and there's a lot of kind of analysis, conscious appraisal of what's going on, which always to me, I don't know, we're always taught, aren't we, that the more you focus on something, the more it grows. And so inevitably, we see a lot of clients that maybe CBT and other therapies haven't been great for because they're dealing more with the conscious than with the subconscious, yeah?
Well, and I would agree with that. You know, and all those therapies, they have and can produce great results for people. However, there's a lot of conscious effort that's involved. And with the way that we work with hypnosis, that conscious effort is removed just simply because we're dealing directly with the part that's running the programs.
Excellent. Yeah, we're dealing directly with the part we need to speak to, and the work's done in the session, isn't it? Rather than saying, right, now go and perform these tasks or do these things over a series of times, yeah?
Right, there's no active, I mean, there's active participation, but there's not active effort, right? The client's involved, but they don't have to focus so intently on the conscious aspect of it. It just allows it to settle in a little bit more easily, I believe.
That's a great distinction. I like that one. So, Anthony, how would you describe to somebody? Because obviously we use what we call the control system, which is obviously the method that I sort of developed over a period of years of working one-to-one with clients. It's all very well me talking about how I believe it differs from traditional hypnotherapy, but how do you describe to people how the control system varies from the stuff they might be familiar with as hypnotherapy?
Well, we take the ritual out of it. No ritual, no trance. We simply get to the root of the issue. We take care of it. We move on. The client's wide awake. It takes away all the fear. It takes away all the questions, and it allows the client to be actively involved and empowered.
That's a good point, isn't it? I think, when I was using a sort of the eyes closed, sleep, deeper and deeper approach, I would see clients who had a fear of that process. And we'd also not see clients because they weren't coming for that process because they feared it so much they weren't even going down that road. So I think, yeah, I would agree with you that that's the main thing that differs about it, is that the client is wide awake. And I think one of the key benefits of that certainly my clients' feedback to me is that they're not just experiencing the change, but they're a part of the process. They understand what's going on because a lot of the changes are built on a new understanding, aren't they? In terms of just the magic, the hypnosis wand was waved, and somehow it worked. Because I always feel that potentially they're gonna think it's gonna wear off at some point otherwise. But that's where this differs, isn't it?
Well, yeah, that's why this isn't temporary, right? We're the new happenings, the new behaviors are based on new learnings, new structures, new neural pathways that are created through the conversation that we have, right? And that's what makes it so accessible and so easy.
That's right. We'll often say, won't we, that understanding is the antidote to all this stuff. And yeah, I think that's right. It's important for me the client feels completely empowered. Like, yeah, this was me that made these changes, not the hypnotherapist doing something that I don't understand.
And it also makes it more permanent that way, because it gives the client the control to understand that they are in fact able to amp it up and keep it amped up when they start to experience something that they may not appreciate.
Brilliant stuff.
It's amazing.
So when we first met, Anthony, you were already not just an experienced hypnotherapist, but also a therapist in other disciplines as well. And that's why I was quite excited when you were saying to me, right, I want this to be the way I work now. I want this to be the method that I use. So coming from that perspective of already trained in therapy, what do you feel the control system adds to what you have then as a toolkit?
Oh my God, do we have enough time for all of this? It's made my work much more enjoyable, because it's much more enjoyable for the client. Like I said, it removes ritual. It completely subverts everything that they think that they're going to be experiencing, and provides them with something that is life-changing in the moment. We get to watch that epiphany moment happen in front of us. And it's cool to see that on a regular basis with every one of my clients. And I didn't always get that with traditional hypnosis, because, and now I'm involved with the client. We're having a conversation, we're talking, we're laughing, we're exploring new possibilities for them. And it's something that is really a lot of fun for both of us.
I'm so pleased to hear you use the word enjoyable there, because that's the thing that when I was just doing this method on my own, wondering if this was going to be the right way of working, I noticed instantly how much more enjoyable the sessions were for me and for the client, and it's so good to hear other people that have trained in the method say the same thing, say they're experiencing the same thing. Because I think, I remember one of the first conversations I had with anyone about therapy, and this was long before I was trained in any form of therapy. It was like a friend of mine, and they were having, I don't know, weekly or monthly sessions with a counselor, and they said to me, like, I won't be available to talk or to go out in that for a couple of days afterwards, because the sessions are quite distressing for me. They're quite draining emotionally. And I remember thinking at the time, that doesn't sound like that it should be that way. Do you know what I mean? And so many people I've spoken to, they're nervous about what we might do, because in the past they've either had to talk through all of what they've been through, or maybe if it's hypnotherapy, they might even have been regressed to the traumatizing incident, and that was unpleasant for them as well, So, and I know that you've got down that road in terms of your trainings, doing regression and what would we say, like abreaction as a release of trauma and things like that. I don't know, it's just I think people are surprised when they realize that not just the changes are positive, but the session work themselves can be quite enjoyable and yeah, just fun, I suppose would be a word as well.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, we're dealing with, let's be real here, we're dealing with real, sometimes traumatic events in people's lives that have
Mm.
taken them down a path they don't want to go. And it's fun for them to come in, excuse me, they get to enjoy the process of the change because we're having a good time, right?
Mm.
Whatever has happened, whatever we're dealing with, has always been in the past. So we can always bring some sort of um, joy to the process,
Yes,
because really isn't that what they're going for anyway? And so why not let them experience that all the way through the change?
yeah, I love that. I love the joy to the process. I think that's a really good way of putting it. I mean, one of my trainers once said that if you're laughing, you're learning. And
Right.
it's not like, I don't want to be like painting a picture of our sessions being like we're still cracking jokes and trying to make the people laugh and everything. But there is, if you're in a positive state of mind, you're probably going to be much more likely to get positive results, I feel, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. And it does they're surprised by how much they enjoy it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They're coming in to take care of something tragic. And by the time they leave, they're smiling, they feel good. They're like, God, I didn't know it could be this easy.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so I'll often have clients come to me and they'll say, how long a process is it? So how many sessions are we going to take to do this? And don't get me wrong, I think clients are much more concerned with how long the change is going to last than how long the change takes to happen, because, you know, this is what we want. We want a positive permanent change rather than a temporary one. But it is worth addressing, isn't it, in terms of, as a method, how long is this process taking for people on average?
3 sessions.
3 sessions.
And you know, that's only because that third one is the one that we don't really need, but it is the one that kind of helps the person go, holy crap, I really have this.
Yeah. That last one is like the one where we're just like having a fun chat, them telling us about everything that's changed and how great they feel about it. You know, I find that the third one, the work we have to do most is getting people to realize that it wasn't us that did anything magical. It was them that did this. You know what I mean? It's like
Right.
they say thank you, and we're like, no, you did this, not me. You
Right.
know? Yeah.
I just showed you the path. You are the one who walked it.
Exactly. And I think as well, a lot of people often will think it's too good to be true because it's been so simple, the process.
Mhm.
But I remember, you know, my first trainer saying that simplicity is where the answers are, because it's their complexities. It's when we get involved in the overthinking and the overcomplicating, that's part of what's caused the problem in many instances, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, it's amazing to clients. They're not interested in coming in and spending tons of hours with you. They've been trained that that's what they're supposed to do in these
Yeah.
sorts of settings. And that's one of the great things about it, is because, again, we subvert all of that.
Yeah.
All of the changes take place in the conversation. And so when it gets down to the real change work that we do, the nitty gritty of it, it's done in 10 minutes usually. Right. And they're sitting there going, holy cow, I didn't know it could be this easy.
Yeah.
It's as easy as taking your next breath.
Wow. Oh, that's a nice one. I like that one. Easiest taking an
Right.
expert. Very good. Very good. No, that's cool. I remember again, the principle we always work by is the KISS thing, you know, keep it simple, stupid. But you don't like the stupid bit, do you?
Keep it super simple.
Keep it super simple. That's we've we've
That's
changed
my way.
what KISS means. It's keep it super simple. That's good.
That's right.
Somebody said keep it simple and subconscious. That was what someone else said to me the other day. I thought that's not bad, is
That's
it?
good too. Yeah. That's a good one.
But I think this is what we've learned. If anyone that's done therapy or been a therapist for any length of time will tell you, the best results come from the simple and direct stuff. I remember, I was chatting with some therapists. This was around the time that my TED talk was released, and they were asking me how did I get results in 3 sessions for things like trauma, and I think that sort of. I was like, I did a question mark over my head. I didn't really have an answer, but when I think about it, I think probably because nobody ever told me that I couldn't. Nobody, it's like you say, people don't want it to take a while, but they've been trained, not just therapists, but clients as well have been trained to believe it takes a long, long time to achieve changes. If you've had this for a long time, if it's been going on for a long time, or if there's a certain severity of the condition that we're talking about or something like that, and it's just not the case, is it?
No, no, I have found that that is absolutely not the case. It literally, you change your mind, and granted, it takes a little bit of training to learn how to change your mind at that level, which is where hypnosis comes in and control comes in. However, once you learn how to do it, it is literally as easy as flipping a switch.
Yeah. And I think that's what, again, that's another thing that surprises people, is how they can feel so different so quickly, especially when sometimes they've, I often hear people say like, well, I've forgotten how to feel normal or something like that. I don't remember how to do it anymore, and that's the big fear, isn't it? That it's been so long that this is now ingrained. But of course, you don't have to remember anything because you weren't doing anything to feel normal. You haven't got to actively, it's almost like you've actively got to stop doing the thing that's keeping you feeling unpleasant or anxious, in this instance of what we're talking about,
Absolutely. That's exactly nail on the head, or head on the nail, however they put that, right?
So having spoken about this method, we have over 100 practitioners throughout the globe now that are using this method. So obviously if someone's watching this video and they're like, oh, maybe I'd like to try the control system, I'll put the links to get in touch with you, to get in touch with me. And maybe I'll put the website link for all of the lists of all the practitioners that we've got that can be contacted. And to be fair, 99% of our practitioners do a free consultation. So if anyone's watching this and they think, oh, I wonder if it could work for me, we do that. We find out if we think it can work for you in an initial sort of 45-minute, 60-minute session. Okay. And that's no monetary charge. But I did want to talk, while I've got the only other person on the planet qualified to train new practitioners, I thought, while I've got you on the line, let's talk a little bit about that, because some people might be watching this and thinking, well, if this is such a great method and it's such an enjoyable method for the practitioner, maybe I'd like to train in this method as well, so that I've got that option for my clients. Yeah. So you train your practitioners in the US. Let's talk through basically, briefly, but what's the process of becoming a practitioner all about then? What's the training like?
Well, this is one of the other things that I liked about the system when I signed up for it, is if you have any experience or not in any kind of change work, this is a great training, because you get 4 days of solid training. You get about, I would say, 100 to 120 hours combined, when everything is combined with the 3 to 4 days of classwork that you have. Because if you're already a trained hypnotherapist, we're going to take you on a 3-day intensive training to really understand the control system. If you don't have that, if you're coming from massage therapy, if you're coming from traditional therapy, life coaching, we're going to give you all of the skills to manage the control system through a whole process, so you can really apply it to your clients, use it in your business, and actually start to really create some major changes for your community.
And also, of course, if you're coming from a completely different profession as well, like as I was when I first came to hypno, I was a plumber before this. So, that's why we do the extra day for the people without the hands-on hypnosis experience or that kind of thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Right, because I expect my students to be able to walk out of class and stick someone's hand to a desk and walk away.
Without glue, it should be said.
Without glue, right, without glue. And the reason for that is because what are we working with the subconscious mind? We need to be able to demonstrate the power of the subconscious mind, that subconscious dominance. We need to be able to demonstrate that for people so they understand what their experience is going to be. And we make sure in our training that we do that, which is why I pursued you to become a trainer, right? Because there's an amazing support system through this. You are supported from the time that you sign up for class until the time you are no longer a practitioner. You will receive support from you or myself or any one of the other practitioners that are on the team, including Nicole, who's part of the admin team.
Nicole Mazzucato.
Anywhere else. Yeah.
That's awesome stuff. So there's like 3 to 4 days actually hands-on, but there's also there's a bit of, it's not like a home study like you might do, if you're studying for a degree or something like that. It's very much reviewing the stuff we go over in class, because we want to make sure we go over it and do it hands-on and learn by doing. But then there's also a process of proving competence, and this is the thing that was very important to me. Talk me through that a little bit in terms of how that works.
So you're after the last day of training, before we expect people to be prepared for this. They can go right out and start their 5 case studies, because we do require you to turn in 5 case studies to be fully qualified. And that is to ensure that you know how to apply the control system to any one of the things that you're coming up against, right? Any of the challenges that your clients are presenting with. We
Mm.
want to make sure you know that how to apply it. And are you staying within your scope of practice? Are you
Mm.
working with things that you need to be working with?
Mm-hmm.
Your competency level. We're not going to
Yeah,
just take
yeah,
your
yeah.
money and throw you out there and say, you know how to do this. No, we're going
Yeah.
to make sure that you know how to do this.
That's it. It's not
Right?
just a turn up and get your certificate type
Yeah,
of
no,
qualification,
no.
is it? Yeah. The other thing as well that I like about this that I've been getting feedback of recently, a lot of people going on trainings and not applying it because they just didn't feel confident when they left the training to apply the system. So the fact that when you're doing, by the time you qualify, you've done 5 case studies. So what with the consultation and 3-session protocol that you run for clients, you've done a good 20, maybe more sessions already before you start to charge people for this. So by the time we do our final review of case studies and see how you've gone, the whole idea that I don't have the confidence to do this, hopefully that's eradicated by then, because you've been doing it in a albeit in a pro bono basis, but you've been getting the results, proving to yourself you can do this and you can help people. Yeah.
All while having the support of your
Yes.
trainer
Yeah.
all the way through that process. I mean, I've got students that, once a month we get together as a group, as a class, make sure that we're all on the same page, we're all moving ahead the same direction, and we all understand what we're doing.
Yeah, this is why I think I was so happy with you as my first actual qualified licensed trainer, because you share my opinion that you support people through their training and through their practice as well. Because I know that when I first trained, I don't know if this was the same for you, but I felt not like the support was lacking, but like it just wasn't there to the degree that I would have liked to feel comfortable and confident sort of striding ahead in my new career. And that was why when I started to train people, it was just so important to me that I made sure that was in place, that you never felt like you were on your own. And you didn't just have your trainers available, but you've also got a whole community of practitioners now that are very, very generous with time, very, very giving of their own knowledge and their own experience. And, you get I believe we get all the support we need as a practitioner,
Right. I mean, where else? I don't know of any other system where you get once a month, get to meet with your trainers and go over new insights, new ways of doing things, how we apply this, very specific topics, and then have an open hour of discussion about how we can support each other. That doesn't happen anywhere else. I mean, when you said support after graduation, I don't know what that is, not without paying an additional $10,000 for the mentoring program, right? Right. We do that for free because we want you to be successful. I mean, isn't that what we're about? Is about helping people be successful. And whether that's a client or a student, I'm going to be there and make sure that they're successful to the best of my abilities.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I think that's why we clicked when we spoke, because we just shared the same values about this work that we do. Well, that's awesome stuff. That's awesome. I suppose the last thing I would ask, just as a I think we've sort of covered it. What qualifications do you need if you want to become a control practitioner? Because somebody asked me
like you.
Say that again.
I have to like you. So there's an interview process, right? We don't just take on anybody who wants to sign up. It may not be the best fit for everybody. And just like with clients, I want to make sure that they're going to be successful with this process, that they're going to be able to take it on board and get the biggest bang for their buck that they can.
Saying I mean, maybe that is exactly how you select your trainees. I don't know.
It's not.
I feel a little bit the same in that we've got to feel, because also the training groups are so small, aren't they? We do a maximum of 6 people at a time. So there's got to be a good rapport between us and the trainees. It's got to feel right to take somebody on, and that's why we chat. It's only about a 20-30 minute chat, but it just, I think we can probably identify if this isn't the right training for somebody in that 20 to 30 minutes, and they can probably identify whether they can tolerate our personality as individuals in that as well, I would have thought. But no,
if they can tolerate the bad jokes for the first 25 minutes, they might do okay for 3 days.
See, 25 minutes is okay. Then you realize you're locked into those bad jokes then it starts to halfway through day 2, you're like, wow, okay. Anyway, but no, okay. So Anthony, thanks so much for chatting with me today. That's awesome stuff. And also thank you for joining this control family and being such a pivotal figure and pioneering the training out in the US as well. So for all the people that are watching this video, if you're in the US and you want to train as a control practitioner, Anthony's the guy to talk to. So what I'll do, I will put all of your contact details in the description below and on this video. I'll put mine as well, because if you're in the UK or in Europe, you'll be training with me. We are constantly doing that process of looking to expand the system. So there will be trainers in other territories, and hopefully in the next couple of years, trainers with other languages as well. So Nicole, who we talked about, we've referenced already, speaks Spanish and French, and we've got practitioners in different countries in Europe who are looking to take these trainings out to their country and do it in the native tongue. So the system continues to expand. But Anthony, thanks for being here today. Thanks for chatting with me.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me on, Tim. I really appreciate it.
So I really hope this video has been of value. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I'll put links for everything we mentioned in this video in the description, including how you can find a control practitioner and also how you can train to become one. Please hit that thumbs up button if you like what I do, and why not subscribe to the channel for weekly mind management tips and anxiety advice. Remember, I'm also now doing a weekly live Q&A every Friday at 6 p.m. London time, where you can ask me your anxiety-related questions, so please join me for that. Also, you can now become a member of the channel and receive extra content every week, including video tutorials of my full system for change with extra insights and exclusive members-only live streams. Just hit the join button on the homepage. But that's it for now. I'm Tim Box, Mind Coach. Always remember to be kind to your mind, and I'll see you next time.